All right, welcome to the very first episode of just talking while gaming. And today I'm going to be playing Dota 2, and the topic of discussion is going to be why I changed my major from civil engineer to computer science. Right. So just a bit of background. I did my bachelor's and my master's in civil engineering, and then suddenly I decided to, hey, just screw this major and then just go to the computer science route, right? So that was my transition, I guess. So I'm just going to talk about why I did this transition at all, essentially. So let's just do it. So let's start off with like, why did I even choose civil engineering in the first place, right? And then the reason is because I was really good at math in my high school, right? So I just wanted to do something with that skill, I guess. So essentially, like, becoming math professor is out of the question, right? There's like multiple reasons is not to do it, but I just wanted to become an engineer, which I thought is gonna use my math knowledge extensively, which I did. It was pretty good, pretty helpful. And yeah, it seems like civil engineers, they just do a lot of math, and then I just did that. And then back in my country, like, civil engineers were like a really hot major. So I thought to myself, hey, why not just do civil engineering and then go back to my country and then make some money, right? So that was the goal. And then it didn't turn out like that, and the things happened. Essentially, like, one of the things I was naive about was the thinking about how, oh no, okay. One of the reasons was I was naively thinking about, I want to go back to my country and then improve their, contribute to their society, blah blah blah, right? But that was kind of like a really bad mistake on my part, because like, even if you graduate from the best university in the world, right, without like job experience, that just doesn't mean anything, right? You have to have job experience in order to do something about it, right? So that's what I was naive about. So and then after I, doing my college, I just thought, okay, maybe I should just work in the United States as a civil engineer and then do something, learn experience, and then hopefully go back to my country and then provide some value, right? So that was my like college thinking. Oh no, damn. But yeah, that didn't turn out well, as you can see. I'm still in the United States. I didn't go back. But yeah, so that was my college thoughts, essentially. Pretty bad thoughts. Now that I think about it, oh no, I'm just trying to do it perfectly, but it's really hard. Okay, so yeah, and then civil engineering was my choice of major, and then I just tried to get a job after I graduated, but that didn't happen that quite well, because to get a job in civil engineering, oh no, to get a job in civil engineer, like, I was concentrating in structural engineering, like, discipline. So there are like many disciplines inside of civil engineering. So for example, like, you have construction engineer, you have geotechnical engineer, you have environmental engineering, right? So, and then you have hydrology, like, all sorts of things, and then you have also transportation engineer. But I chose like structural engineer, which I thought it was gonna be most useful of my math knowledge, I guess, because they do a bunch of heavy math involvement. But I mean, I think you can argue that every discipline does that, but I mean, just to me, structural engineer was like the most go-to. Okay, so that's what I did. And then I based on the industry experience, what I've gathered was a lot of the company people that I met in my career, like, not in my career, in my college years, had master's degrees. So, and then I thought, okay, let's just do my master's degree in civil. Oh no, in my civil engineering, especially the structural engineering discipline, right? And then try to get a job after my master's. So that's what I did. And then I just finished my master's under 9 months, and then hopefully get a job using my master's degree, right? But that didn't happen because the civil engineering industry is like really not really great for international students. So I was an international student, and I also obviously had visa issues, right? And then when I tried to get a job, employees were like, hey, what do you mean you have visa issues, right? I mean, can't you just work, blah blah blah, right? I mean, they just didn't know about anything, right, about those visa issue that I'll be having. So that's pretty bad. And then compared to common software engineering companies, they just know about the visa issues, right? Because they've been hiring like Chinese and Indian people like for decades now, right? So they are aware of these issues. But civil engineering, they just don't know it because they haven't been hiring, international students that much, and then that caused problems, right? So of course there were like other big companies that hired Oh no, I think I'm gonna mess this up. Damn. No. Yep, I messed up. Yeah, of course there were like big companies that hired civil engineers that provided visas, but there was just a lot. There was a lot of like negative aspects towards me that not to get hired. I guess like visa is like one of the prominent issues, and then I just really hated that. And then all of my friends who had computer science degree, they were just getting jobs left and right. So I was just pretty mad about that too. And a lot of my like classmates, like when doing my civil engineering, they were also transitioning into like computer science majors just because civil engineering sucks so much, right? So I just personally know like a few of my Chinese friends that did the same thing. So they just transitioned into like computer science, and then because the industry sucks so bad, right? So and then that's one of the reasons. Like visa issue is like one of the reasons to not get a job, basically. And yeah, I wish if the industry was like really positive towards international students. If I was probably I would have been civil engineering right now, but also there was like issue of like I think I was trying to get into my PhDs, and then that didn't happen. So if there was just stars aligning problems, right? So if I was accepted to the PhD program, then I would have stayed as a civil engineer, but that didn't happen. And also like when I was searching for jobs, I didn't search for jobs that much, but like if I was searching for jobs and then I got a job, probably I would have stayed civil engineer. But I just searched for jobs a little bit, and then I just didn't get it, right? But the thing is, like, if I got a job like in my first like few weeks of searches, then I probably got have stayed as a civil engineer. But yeah, so basically, I just decided to get my master's degree in computer science after like oh no, damn, after the failed attempts, essentially. And yeah, I talked to my parents about it, and then they supported me. So they're like, yeah, just transition to computer science, and then get a job in the industry. So that was good. And then I spent 2 years to do my computer science masters, and then now I'm here. Like I've been doing computer science like for now like about 5 years in the industry now, working at big tech companies, startup companies, like a lot of good stuff. So I'm really happy that I made this decision. So yeah, but also I want to talk about like not just visa issue problems, right? There's a lot of incentive to do computer science. So let's just talk about those. So for example, like the salary is like a really big thing. Like starting salary in civil engineering is just horrendous, right? So I remember that my classmates were getting like maybe $60,000, and that's in like Seattle. So that's like really expensive city, right? And then $60,000 for a master's degree civil engineer, that's just laughable, right? I was just thinking that's just so little. Like how can you even afford to live, right? Basically, that's super bad. Like I just didn't really get it. So the starting salary is really bad. Oh no, I missed it. Damn. Okay. Starting salary is horrendous. And while computer scientists, like if you go into like Facebook or Google, like the big tech companies, right, that you can get up to like $160,000 or maybe even $200,000 depending on the region, right? So it is really good. Like even like the most awful like companies would give you like $60,000 of starting salary, right? Like right now the job market I know is terrible, but back in the day, like it used to be really good, and then it's still good for like no, it's still good for like senior engineering positions right now, but I think it's just like a cool off period currently. Maybe next year will get better. Hopefully we'll see what happens, but right now the industry is kind of dark, but yeah, but in general, like CS like computer science majors, they just get paid so much money. I was really jealous of those back in the back like 5-6 years ago, I guess. No, I guess 7 years ago now. No, okay, good. And then yeah, so I want to talk about like why is that the case, right? So civil engineers, like why do they get so little money? So there's actually like a really good reason. So this is because like you have to understand like how do civil engineering companies make money, right? So they make money based on of bid systems, like in a government contracts, like building contracts, like whatever, right? So every contract that they do is like given to the company that would pay pay the lowest, right? Essentially, like you have a project, and then I can pay like $1 million for this, and another company comes in, and then they say I can pay $2 million for this, right? So that's like obviously you're gonna get the $1 million. Oh shit, $1 million one because it's the cheapest one, right? So it's a bid system that lowest price gets the contract. So while in software engineering, there's just nothing like this, right? I mean, of course, there's competition, but I mean, once you create a software, then you can just basically sell it to infinite amount of people, and then you can scale like really, really big, right? But in civil engineering world, that's just not the case. Like, there's just no scaling. There's like no like, oh, wait. Okay. There's just no scaling at all, which sucks. And then there's just no, like no bid systems. Like, oh, of course, there's going to be like government contract software positions, but like we're not talking about that. Like, those companies are rare. So, and then like all these big tech companies, they're just making products for like billions and billions of people, right? So, like those like scale infinitely, basically. So that's great, right? And then like that, because of that, the profit margins can be huge in software engineering industry. So just think about that. Like, when I was in like school, people used to tell me like structural engineers, they would get like 1%. Oh no, 1% of the whole budget, right? So if essentially like if there was a building that cost like $100 million to build, the structural engineers would only get $1 million off of that. It's just peanuts. Like, that's just so sad to hear, right? While the software people, they can get up to like 18% of profit. But that's, I'm talking about profit. I'm not even talking about like income. So the 1% that I talked about was just basically like the income of all the people like that's going to be doing the calculations and stuff, right? But like percentage wise, profit margin, it can be like, even 20%, even 10%, like even 15%. Like, profit margin is like super huge in software because they can scale so well, right? So that's like one thing to keep in mind as well. Like, okay, so, and that also reflects into the starting salary, right? That's essential to good to note. And then I talked about visa issues, I talked about profit margin. I guess I also talked about starting salary, right? So essentially, like, your starting salary is going to be miserable, like in engineering, civil engineering discipline. So that's pretty bad. Okay, what else did I miss? Okay, yeah, let's talk about salary growth, right? So you can, obviously some people say, hey, engineers have like really high growth salary, but that's also not the case. Like, even like 5-year experienced engineer, they can get up to like $300,000, $400,000 per year. And then like, there's just no way senior engineers like in civil engineering world, they're gonna get paid like $300,000, right? That's just not gonna happen at all. So salary growth is insane. Like, even like 10-year experienced software engineers, they can get up to like $1 million in big tech companies. Like, it's crazy, but you're never going to be able to get that in civil engineering discipline. It's just not going to be the case. So yeah, salary growth is insane in software engineering industry. So you have to think about that too. And yeah, I guess that's all of the points that I want to discuss. I can also talk about like the college disciplines, but I mean, like, college stuff. Oh, I think I'm gonna get it, but I can talk that into another video. But I mean, for now, the whole reason that I chose computer science is largely because of money and largely because of visa issues. That's like one of the biggest two factors, like, I would say. So okay, I think I'm gonna get it. So yeah, so those are the things. Like, also, like, I guess I had some small interest, not small, I guess I had some big interest in coding. So I really liked coding. Like, I did coding like in high school, I would say, like really, really small coding. That was just basically like creating hello world in print statements or something. I really, really had really small understanding of coding, but I really liked it anyway. So that was definitely like a factor. Oh, I think I got it. Nice. Wow. Okay, this is the first time I got it. Diamond. That's awesome. Okay, that's gonna be the end of the video, and hopefully it kind of made sense. And I guess I did kind of good in here. Okay, maybe I'll try with a harder hero next time, because Juggernaut is like the easiest hero to do it. I would say. All right. Thanks for watching. See you. Bye bye.